All right, hello and welcome everyone to today's produce spotlight class for today. My name is Charlotte Shine. I'm one of the Giant Company dietitians. Thanks for everybody for being here today and happy Easter week for those of you who celebrate. I'm definitely loving the spring weather right now and all the colors are coming out with the flowers. So definitely starting to feel like Easter. So our recipe for today, well, actually, let me back up. So for produce spotlight, we are featuring spring salads so that we have a wonderful salad for you, especially for the Easter week. So we are going to be making a Easter egg Cobb salad. So this makes for a wonderful centerpiece, especially for the holiday. So, and also a lot of fun to create as well. So let's go to the recipe. Okay, so this is the Easter egg Cobb salad, and it does get one guiding star. And so our ingredients that we're going to be using. So first of all, I think the salad is very colorful and definitely really pretty, I think. And what's nice about it is that it also gives you a dressing recipe, which is very delicious, to of course put on it when you're ready to eat it. We are going to be incorporating asparagus, which is an in-season produce item right now, and radishes as well. Some hard-boiled eggs, spring greens, some cheddar cheese, corn, shredded carrots, and then diced ham as well. So definitely with the patterns and everything, it makes for a wonderful centerpiece again. And I'm going to ask my poll question for today because I'm just kind of curious. So let me pull that up for a second. Okay, so hopefully everybody can see that. So I'm just curious with all of you, do you make a homemade salad dressing? So a homemade salad dressing can be super delicious, very affordable, and usually lasts in the refrigerator for a while, but definitely always tastes fresh. So give everybody a couple seconds to answer that question. Okay, let me go ahead and end the poll and we'll share the results. So it looks like about half of you do and half of you don't. Which I know that probably about a year or so ago, I started making my own homemade salad dressings, just because they taste very, very fresh. But hopefully this recipe today will inspire you to do so for those who do not make a homemade salad dressing. So that is our recipe that we're going to create, and it does get one guiding star. But before we get into that, since we're talking about salads and spring salads, I wanted to go over just why build a better salad and a balanced salad. So we'll talk about this in the next couple slides, and then we'll get to making your Easter egg Cobb salad. So why build a better salad? So I just want to first start off by saying, sometimes when we think of salads, we just think that, it's just a little bit of lettuce, tomato, and cucumber. Not very delicious, very bland, but salads can obviously be more than just lettuce and tomato, kind of like what we're making today with the Easter egg Cobb salad. But you can incorporate a variety of food groups and will help the salad to be more balanced. So a balanced salad will help you feel full throughout the day and feel satisfied throughout the day. So a lot of protein, fiber, and that types of things because you're incorporating a variety of food groups, which also helps us to get the nutrients that we need. It can be very customizable and versatile, so you can really make it however you want it and really make it fun. So how to build a better salad. So there's, I guess, like 5 layers or 5 parts. So the first is to lead with leafy greens. We know that leafy greens are a really good source of antioxidants, nutrients, and those types of things. And there's a variety of leafy greens in a next slide or so. We'll give you different options. Then you're going to pick a protein, then layer flavors with fruits or vegetables. What's nice about this time of year and going into the summer, there's a lot of in-season produce that tastes super delicious. But things like berries, cherries, peaches, and pears, you can incorporate. But things like asparagus, which we'll be incorporating today, is very nice and in season, as well as radishes. Then you can get creative with nuts, seeds, and grains. So grains are especially pretty popular right now, like farro, quinoa, those types of things. Then you can drizzle on the dressing, which makes it make it even more flavorful, especially if you do a homemade dressing. So we talked about leading with leafy greens. So these are a couple of our products. So leafy greens can be things like arugula, kale, spinach, romaine lettuce, a spring mix. I really love arugula, especially because it gives a nice, like a peppery taste. But arugula is really good. We have kale greens, baby spinach, romaine. We're going to be using our baby spinach and spring mix on today's Easter egg Cobb salad. So a lot of different options. And what I do like about these kits, first of all, that they're pre-washed, so you can just add them to a salad. You don't really have, and they're already cut up, so you don't have to do a lot to them. And I do like these containers because you can just take it out as you need it, and then it reseals to stay fresh in the refrigerator. So that makes it pretty easy to add greens. And we're going to pick a protein, so I don't need to read all these different options, but there's a ton of different protein options that you can choose from. So things like beans and cheese, tofu, which I love a really good, even like a fried tofu, you can, with a lot of different seasonings, it's really good on a salad. Edamame is pretty easy to incorporate, or even tuna, a lot of different options, but you're going to pick a protein. And obviously, when we talk about a salad being customizable and versatile, you can just really switch it up even every single day. And then we're going to layer the flavors with fruits and vegetables. So you can see here a lot of different options. Gives flavor, crunch, and texture, and those types of things. And especially with the vegetables, you can eat them raw, you can roast them, which really helps to bring out the flavor, or even steam them. So a lot of different options with layering the flavors with fruits and vegetables. Then you can get creative. I always like to add some seeds and nuts for extra crunch, and even grains gives another good way to get some texture in. But even things just like walnuts and pecans, pumpkin seeds, or grains, for instance, quinoa, brown rice, barley, those types of things. Another good way to get in fiber as well. So you can get creative that way. A lot of different options. And then drizzle on the dressing. So half you said that you do make your own homemade dressing, and then half said you don't, but it's super easy to make. If you want to make a homemade salad dressing, it usually lasts in the refrigerator for at least a good week or so. But you are going to choose and make your base. So vinaigrette, you can whisk together about 2 parts of oil with 1 part of vinegar. So vinegar can be apple cider, balsamic, white wine, a lot of different options. And if you want more of like a creamy yogurt kind of dressing, you can whisk together 3 parts of Greek yogurt, 1 part of sour cream, splash of milk to the preferred consistencies, and you can also then season it. So you can add in garlic, which is one of my favorites. You can add a little ginger or scallions, mustard, herbs, and especially this time of year, herbs are really in season. So things like basil and mint and those types of things, or even adding in some spices. So again, very customizable and versatile. But you can also, if you do not have a whole lot of time, or you just want to go to the store and just buy something, you can buy store-bought. I always recommend Bolthouse Farms because it's made with yogurt, a little bit less fat and lower calories. So anything about dressing, if you want to have some fun, try to make your own. But those are just kind of how to create a balanced salad, and we are incorporating a lot of those in the Easter egg Cobb salad for today. Okay. And just a review, just a little bit, just going over briefly some health benefits. So we mentioned about dark leafy greens, excellent source of calcium, which is really important for our bone health. Also contains iron, which is important for the growth and development. Good source of vitamin K, helps to protect bones from osteoporosis and inflammatory diseases. Also, research has shown that greens can boost brain health by decreasing the risk of cognitive decline. And obviously with protein, helps with muscle recovery, the building of muscle, and reduces muscle loss. And also with weight management, if you're eating a good protein in your meals, helps to curb that hunger so you're not, snacking all the time or feel hungry. And also with fruits and vegetables in general, very good source of antioxidants, which help to decrease the risk of chronic disease. Nuts and seeds have those healthy fats that we want, including those omega-3 fatty acids, which research has shown is really beneficial for heart and brain health, like cognitive development and memory. And then, of course, grains, good source of fiber, which is beneficial for our digestive health, gut health. And whole grains have been shown to help lower that LDL cholesterol, helps to lower blood pressure, improve digestive health, and reduces risk of certain cancers and diabetes. So you can see in each of these different areas, there's a lot of different nutrients that we can get by having that balanced salad. All right, so let me Let me stop sharing my screen. I don't know if actually, if someone could tell me in the chat, can you just see my whole screen? Hopefully you can. Okay, so no more PowerPoint. Okay, good. Okay. Let me. Okay. All right. So we're going to be making a Easter egg Cobb salad. Okay, so I'm starting out with a oval plate right here. I guess you can do a circle, kind of a circular one if you want to, but since it's an Easter egg, we want kind of an Easter egg shape. So I have that right here. And I will say before class, I put my asparagus in the microwave. I put a little bit of water on the bottom of a microwavable safe dish and microwaved it for about maybe like 2 minutes or so. You don't necessarily have to do that. You can eat the asparagus more raw if you want. Asparagus tends to have more of like a bitter taste if it's, just raw. Cooking it tends to like lessen that flavor a little bit. But I just wanted my asparagus to be just a little more soft. But I did do that before the class for today. So I'm going to be using the Nature's Promise baby spinach and spring mix, as you can see right here. So that's going to be my first layer. Excuse me, let me open this. And again, with these packages, it gives a really nice seal. So it stays in the refrigerator for a good amount of time. I'm just gonna kind of layer this as the first layer on the very bottom. And kind of push it down a little bit too, because we're gonna be putting stuff on top. We can use all of this spring mix. I think that looks pretty good for right now. So I'm just gonna reseal this. And again, these are already pre-washed, which is nice. So you can see here, this is my first layer. So on either side, I'm starting out, so I'm going to kind of work on the outside and then in. So we're going to put on hard-boiled eggs. So you can see I already have cut these up. And these are what I am using for hard boil, or you can even boil them yourself, but you want to save a little bit of time. I'm just using Nature's Promise hard-boiled eggs. So we'll put these at the very end. This is our first layer. Okay, so I'll do this very end, and then I'll go to the other end. So you can see right here I'm doing. So this top and then bottom. All right, so let me just get a couple more eggs on here. Okay, so there we go. Whenever I think of a Cobb salad, this is kind of the first ingredient that I think of. So our next one that we're going to put on is diced ham. So we're going to do a layer by each of the eggs. So I bought this reduced sodium diced ham. You could even, if you wanted to buy a deli ham and kind of chop it up that way, you could. But I just bought, so you can see, try to break this apart. So this is just kind of like already diced. Just makes it a little bit easier, but this is a reduced sodium one. So we're just going to put this as a layer right beside the egg. The recipe calls for about 1.5 cups. I don't know if you necessarily need that much. You can kind of put what you want. But again, if you don't want to purchase this diced ham, you can always buy deli ham and chop it up into finer pieces. Okay, I think this looks pretty good. Let me try to rotate this, not rotate it, but pull it up a little bit so you can see. So the next thing we're going to put on is cheese. So I have this reduced fat sharp cheddar cheese that's finely, what am I trying to say? Yeah, shredded cheddar cheese. So we're gonna put this just on the one side of the ham. So right here. It doesn't have to be too much, but just one layer. Okay. So I have my egg, ham, and cheese. So then on the other ham side, I'm going to put on radishes. So if anybody likes radish, I always think that they give a really nice crunch and give great color. And they are starting to become in season. We're just going to do a layer right by the other ham. I'm just gonna kind of push down these leafy greens a little bit, it's easier. And the recipe calls for about 5 radishes sliced. But I don't know if you need exactly that much, because it depends on how big your whole plate is. Just do one more here. Okay. You can kind of see here, it's starting to look a little bit like Easter egg, and I will do a final picture of it, all the way down. Okay, so by the cheddar cheese, we're going to put some carrots. So I'm just using these shredded matchstick carrots. Makes it pretty easy. I'm gonna kind of spread this out even, push this back a little bit because I still have a couple more layers. So we're gonna put some carrots right by the cheese. Love all this color in this one. Okay. And then the next one I'm going to put on is our sweet corn. So I did already thaw this. Just our frozen sweet corn. So I'm going to add my corn to this and then kind of make like a decoration with the asparagus. Let me go ahead and add this corn on. And again, with the asparagus, I microwaved it for about 2 minutes with a little bit of water on the bottom of a microwavable dish. But if you want to eat it raw, you can too. Just takes a little bit of the bitter, flavor out. All right. All right, so we have this. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut some of these tips off the asparagus because I'm going to use them as a decoration. Set some of these to the side. Okay. I'm just going to kind of cut these tips off. Might even have to make them a little bit shorter too. Cut them down just a little bit more. All right. So I have these. I'm going to bring back my Easter egg Cobb salad. And we're going to do a design right over the corn. So you can see this kind of what it looks like right now. All right. So I'm almost going to do kind of like a triangle shape right over the corn. These pieces are a little too big, but that's okay. Then after we make the Cobb salad, we're going to get into making our homemade dressing, which uses Dijon mustard, which is one of my favorite ways to make a salad dressing, one of my favorite ingredients. Okay. It's done here. And of course, it doesn't have to be perfect. This does make for a really colorful kind of centerpiece. Okay, there we go. All right. So you can see here, because I won't fully turn it because I don't want it to fall, but I'll do a final picture. So this is, you can see Easter egg Cobb salad. So we're going to set that right to the side and we'll get into making our salad dressing. Okay. So for the salad dressing, so I have my bowl right here. We're going to put in 1 teaspoon of garlic. So I mentioned that garlic is one of my favorite ingredients for salad dressing. So we're going to do 1 teaspoon. 1 teaspoon. Let me go grab it. I think I put it over here. So 1 teaspoon of minced garlic. I always like this product because it's very easy just to pull it out of the refrigerator and then use it as you need it. So we'll do 1 teaspoon. We're gonna add in a half cup of white wine vinegar. I have that right here. I always love a good vinegar base salad dressing. So we'll do half a cup. We're also going to add in 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. This is just fresh lemon juice that I already squeezed before class. This is 2 tablespoons. We're going to do a half teaspoon of sugar to kind of bring out the flavors. So just a half teaspoon. I'm going to do 2 tablespoons of the Dijon mustard. And then 2/3 cup of olive oil. This is another great way to get in those healthier fats. So I'll bring this over to 2/3 cup. And we'll just mix it. So you can see that really took me no more than a minute or two to make. And of course, if you do store this in the refrigerator, I would definitely, sometimes they have those salad dressing container bottle things that you would just shake it when you're ready to use it. All right. And sometimes when you store it in the refrigerator too, overnight, it makes the flavors combine even more so. So that is the salad dressing that goes with our Easter egg Cobb salad. Let me just put this up into the camera. So you can see here, so very nice for a centerpiece and a lot of color, which when it comes to Easter, that is what I always think of. Okay. So someone asked, is white wine vinegar less acid? That is a good question. I'm not sure if it's less acid or not, but I will definitely look into that question, but that is a great question. And what makes a Cobb salad different from other salads? I think sometimes the original kind of Cobb salad just incorporates kind of the same kind of ingredients like eggs and ham. I always think with a Cobb salad always has like certain types of ingredients to it. But I hope this gives everybody a great salad idea for Easter. Easter is the perfect time to incorporate a salad, especially with thinking outside the box of how to make your table centerpiece really nice. And especially if you haven't made a homemade dressing before, definitely give this a try. And I'll take a final picture of this so everybody can see a close-up of our Easter egg Cobb salad. All right, well, I appreciate everybody being here today for this produce spotlight class featuring salads. Hopefully you all learned a little bit something about how to build a balanced salad. The Easter egg Cobb salad is a great salad to incorporate more of a balanced salad. But I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of the week and hope to see you again in a future class. So take care and happy Easter week. Bye-bye.